Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and this is...
Autumn Garibay.
And this is...
Logan Garibay.
And today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang, we're going to talk about Joe Biden, we're going to talk about AMC theaters, we're going to talk about Trolls World Tour, and we're going to talk about Universal. Alright, so let me frame it, alright? Trolls came out, Trolls 1 comes out in the movie theaters a couple years ago. It makes $350 million. Trolls World Tour releases PVOD, Premium Video on Demand. It has no theater release. It goes straight to streaming and is charging $20 to watch it like 2 weeks before its actual theatrical release, which because of coronavirus there was none. It makes $100 million for Universal Studios, okay? That's not a problem, okay? AMC theaters, they're like, hey, we get it. All you studios are releasing PVOD right now. You're releasing through video. AMC gets they're not upset with Universal Studios doing the release. They get upset when Universal Studios CEO goes on to an interview, brags that they made $100 million, and then says this model is so strong for us that we are going to continue to do premium video on demand releases, simultaneous theater release, simultaneous PVOD release, straight to people who want to buy it for $20 for one rental. That's not an own. That is one rental. $20 for one rental. AMC theaters gets very angry at a corporate level and says, that's it. When we come back, Universal, you are cut out. We ain't showing your movies. What's that mean to you, the viewer? That means you ain't going to get to see the next Fast and Furious in your movie theater if you go to an AMC. Logan, can you do me a favor? Can you explain to these viewers what our relationship is to the AMC theater, to AMC theaters overall? Not over the last 2 months, but over the last 10 years.
We really, really, really like AMC. It's our main theater.
Absolutely.
It's really cheap most of the time. Our one isn't one of like the big like fancy ones.
It's an AMC classic.
yeah. So you can go to a matinee and it's like really cheap.
Yeah. You have any memories of AMC theaters?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We used to go to pretty much the closest AMC to us back when they were all classic, and we also enjoy some special outings too, the ones with the big cushy seats, but have continued to frequent the closest one to us because it is one of very few where you can just go and
no assigned seats.
No assigned seats. Cheaper tickets, and we really enjoy AMC Classic in particular, but AMC as a whole has pretty great theaters.
Yeah, so go ahead.
And we do go to other theaters sometimes, like Royal or whatever.
Regal. Yeah.
Regal, but only for like Fathom events. Like,
right.
We don't go, yeah.
Literally 90% of our movie going happens at an AMC theater, literally within like 5 miles of our house. And, like, we've been going there for, like, 10 years. Like, they know what I'm going to order when I go to concessions. Like, it's nuts. Like, we are very serious AMC family. So, all right, so first of all, what's the Andrew Yang connection? Here's what I'm saying. Andrew Yang immediately unsuspends, right, and picks a winner. He says, AMC, you're 100% right. Shame on you, Universal. And on day one of my presidency, when I'm elected president, I will make sure that AMC is recouped for any money lost for Universal for following through and not putting on Universal movies, because they should be punished because they were incredibly short-sighted and selfish. That's what Andrew Yang should do. What do you guys think? We'll go with wait, you know what? You are the older sibling. We'll go with you first.
Thank you. So, I do disagree. I am pro Universal on this issue. However, I do, as always, want to bring a little nuance to the topic and say I am also pro AMC. Let me explain. So, I think that it is understandable for Universal to want to go streaming, especially during this time, but also for the time after. I find a lot of things like that. We change it up to just to cope with the times, and it ends up being better. And Universal has found this for their streaming service as well. But the reason I'm also pro AMC in this is I think it's absolutely fair of them to see this and not show their movies, so that movie studios do need to choose right now. They need to pick a lane. I think it could be a good strategy to go streaming, but it makes sense for they won't be going streaming and going to theaters. But I want to bring let me ask, what were the numbers? So
yeah,
did it make more or less than the Trolls 1?
It made
in
way
theaters?
less than Trolls 1. Trolls 1 in theaters made $350 million. Go ahead.
350.
Oh, and Trolls World Tour made $100 million.
100 million.
Go ahead.
I want to comment on that. I have some opinions on that. I'm not going to do my full opinion yet, but so Trolls did 350. World Tour did 100 on streaming. So that's Trolls World Tour, almost a third of the first Trolls. It's a sequel, and it was on streaming. So I think from that, the CEO was right to say it was really good for market. And
Yeah.
To your point, as far as the numbers, do you know why it was cheaper for them? Why they made even more money? Why you might like $100 million more than $350 million?
Did they not have to pay any of that to the theaters?
Yeah.
Nothing to the theaters. Virtually no advertising. None of that.
I also think there's some nuance in the numbers here, in that I'll bet you more people saw Trolls 2 than saw Trolls 1, because for every $10 of that $350 million, one person got to see Trolls.
But for the 20,
1. But for the $100 million, I'll bet you for every $10 or $20, a family of 5 got to see the whole movie. So I think it might. I know you're incredibly a movie buff, and I think the whole family are kind of movie enthusiasts just by proximity. But I also know a lot of families that truly enjoy getting to see a movie in the comfort of their own home, and I think that those families probably really enjoyed the Trolls 2 that went on streaming.
Yeah. So this is gonna be my full comment on it. So I do think I just want to get into the logistics of this, but I do think AMC was in the wrong here. I think the process should have been a lot slower than just, we're not going to let you do anything in our theaters ever again. I think that was a really fast approach, and I don't think it was really thought through that much, because it's just like they do one thing and the CEO says, we might do this in the future, and in my opinion, I don't think he was really bragging that much. I think he was just saying, hey, we did really good on this, I think we should head forward with it. He was like, but I don't think he was like, this is the best thing, or I don't care about you stupid movie theaters, we're going all streaming. I don't think that was his goal there. But from your plan about Andrew Yang, I do think that's a bit far-fetched. I don't even think about the movie theater part for the COVID, so I don't really believe that would happen any less. And I feel like this should be solved between AMC and Universal.
So here, all right. So one, I'm plucking your movie enthusiast hat off and throwing it in a fire. I'm plucking your movie theater hat off and throwing it in the same fire. You two are not movie enthusiasts, and the reason why is movies go to the theater. Small screen is trash. Let's get into it. All right. So first of all, this was incredibly short-sighted from the Universal CEO. He has no idea what he's doing. He is Alfred said it in the best Batman movie that was ever made. Some men just want to watch the world burn, and that's what the Universal CEO is doing. He has no idea the ridiculousness of his statement. So, movie theaters, American movie theaters, 100,000 of them, you just found that number a little while ago, right? They are hurt right now. Universal has one of the biggest intellectual properties in the world, Fast and Furious. There are 9 movies in that series, right? They have made consistently more money with every single one, right? Every single Fast and Furious movie has made a mint. Fast and Furious movies are making $1 billion now, okay? Who cares about $100 million on a stupid animated movie when you're threatening billion-dollar properties? Billion-dollar properties. You want a billion-dollar movie? You take that to 6,000 movie theaters in the greatest nation in the world, right? And when you put that movie into a movie theater, you don't get a little bit of change, a little bit of $100 million nothing, right? You get $1 billion plus, and you keep the candy store on the way to the movie theater in business, the convenience store. You keep the gas station on the way to the theater in movie theater. You keep the nice Italian restaurant in business because some lady is taking her boyfriend to there, if for their first date. You keep the hairdresser in business because that lady wants her hair to look nice. You keep Gap jeans in business because that dude goes and buys a new pair of jeans with a cool rip on it, right? That Universal CEO, how dare he? So short-sighted, so foolish, so kicking someone when they're down over a little $100 million. It's nothing. It is short-sighted, ridiculous, incredibly destructive. And honestly, if I was his board, I would seriously be thinking if he should have that job. It was outrageously, ridiculously stupid for him to get excited about $100 million on an animated movie when he's got billion-dollar properties with some of the biggest stars in the world. And if he's thinking about this country, if he's thinking about the world, if he's thinking about the nation, if he's thinking about American jobs, he knows it's trash money on a trash platform. Small screen is trash, right? You take an incredible, awesome series and you put it on perfect example. Netflix Lock and Key. Absolutely fantastic. World class. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared. And then the reason why is it's a pancake on the stack. You know how much content's on the small screen? Thousands of shows. You know how many movies go to movie theaters every year? About 300. And they're the best the world can make, right? And the guy who has the Universal CEO job doesn't know what he's doing. Short-sighted, short-thinking, not smart, not merciful. It is incredibly short-sighted and absolutely the wrong direction for the world, for the nation, and for millions of jobs. The American movie theater has to be saved. And this guy should commercially get his teeth kicked in. And I hope AMC takes him to the woodshed and just whoops him. I hope Universal loses a ton on this because that Universal CEO was massively short-sighted to say this. And I hope AMC sets the bar for the rest of the theaters and go, if you slap us in the face, we will roundhouse you and knock you to the ground, right? I hope Universal loses a fortune on this because that Universal CEO was not thinking. Go ahead.
Logan, you have something to say there?
I have, at the end, you said they were roundhouse kicking them, but at the same time, they're kind of, once they roundhouse, they accidentally punch themselves in the face. Because obviously they won't have Universal in their theaters. Therefore, they can't get any money from Universal Theater movies, which is a decent part of their theater.
Hurts them too. You got a good point there.
I do want to say I don't feel the CEO of Universal is a demon from the pits. I think this was a major overreaction from AMC. He just said one thing, just saying, hey, we did pretty good. I think we should do this a bit more. And then AMC's like, no, you can't do this. Get out of my theater. That's basically what they did. And I think it's just, I definitely think AMC is in the wrong here.
Yeah, I think, your position is understandable. You've made other videos on saving American movie theaters. I still stand my point that this would not have happened without the coronavirus, because this is a very, very changed world and will be. So the fact that movies going to theater helped all of the companies around it hope if it went back to that, ideally they would do that again. But as we've also addressed, I think the world has changed fairly permanently. When people go back out, they might not care as much about their hair, or they might be used to driving less, and just stay in for a streaming video anyway. I also would refute that streaming content is a dime a dozen. You're right, absolutely right. There is a lot of it, but I think it is clear that there are gems and comparable to what is in the theaters. Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, things billions of people will watch just as they would go to a movie theater, and also more than that would go to a movie theater. The fact that Universal is prioritizing who gets to see anything right now over the money they would make in a theater, I think is honestly a bit nicer. Like, I think it might be out of a kindness for their audience rather than just spite towards theaters and the companies around them, maybe.
I want to add just one thing. I don't fully agree with the full streaming thing. I feel like this incident was just a bad play by both of them. I don't think the CEO should have said that abruptly, and he said it kind of long term. He didn't say like just until COVID. He kind of said it for a long while. I think he should have been a bit more careful saying that. But then again, AMC kind of overreacted a bit, in my opinion. But I do think cinema theaters should strive and do well. But at the same time, I feel like streaming is somewhat of a good opportunity. But you shouldn't fully fledge to it, because cinema is already a based establishment and industry. So yeah,
it's a tough call. I feel like the best analogy here is like if you are a cheesemaker and you get an order for $1,300 a week from the pizza shop place, and then Corona hits, and then you, the cheese factory, make $100 delivering cheese right to people's houses, and then you get excited and say, oh hey, as soon as Corona's over, I'll continue driving cheese to your house. You don't have to call the pizza place to get a pizza. It's absurd. It is. I feel like, man, the pizza place is your real money shot. I can't believe any CEO would get excited about $100 million when they have billion-dollar IPs. It really makes you shake your head. Yes.
I have one more comment. I kind of just want to shift this away a bit, but one thing we have to think about is China. I don't really know how the China cinema works, but I don't think AMC is a major part of it, and I do think there are separate companies and brands. Yeah, so I don't think Universal would be like dead in the water just because AMC doesn't establish their.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I don't think
they
would lose money, but I don't think they'll just be like, we're shutting down the parks, wrapping it all up, we're done.
What do you think? Quick touch on China point. What do you think?
Yeah, that is a good point, and I think it shows that if Universal goes streaming in America or elsewhere, if AMC doesn't take them, that doesn't mean we don't get to see that movie. We don't get to see it at AMC, but we either get to see it on streaming. It's seen globally. And I think that does bring a lot of context, and thank you, Logan.
The China is an excellent point. It's a strong point to end on. That's our opinion. What do you think? Who was right? Who was wrong? Was AMC right? Was Universal right? And should Andrew Yang unsuspend immediately and take AMC's side the way I said? Let us know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.